Hey everyone, and welcome to the monthly Lucid Technique Invitation Exploration of October 2022. Super excited to do this, and for this month what we want to do is together to take a technique and just keep with it for the entire month. We know that every technique that we learn for lucid dreaming, out of body, getting to the non-physical, whatever it is, it's good to stick with it, give it a chance, at least like 30 days trial. So this is what we're going to do this month starting October 1st. And the techniques that we're going to use are SSILD and FILD. And I'm going to explain in a few minutes what does this initials even mean and how are we going to perform the technique in case you haven't heard of them. But before we start that, I just really want to point out that if you are coming along with us to this journey, this month, this exploration, then really make a commitment to stick with it. Because a lot of the times we are introduced to a new practice and then we get excited, because it's new. But that excitement only lasts for like 2 to 3 days, and then, doubt starts creeping in and laziness comes along as well. And what I'm actually trying to tell you here is that after those 3 days, we have to learn how to sustain the practice through our sheer will, not being sustained by the excitement. And of course, afterwards, when we succeed or we hear from other people that they succeed doing the techniques, then our excitement comes back again and it gives us this extra boost. But the idea is to really learn how to be consistent, how to stick with the practice with our sheer will. Even though we are not getting any success, we'll always learn something on the way. And just having a group doing this together is so sweet, because you can back up each other and help and give advice and just help really sustain this practice for the whole month. And this is the whole idea. So again, I'm just saying up front, I wish you to come with us and do this together, but really make this choice, this determination that you're going to stick with it no matter what for the entire month. And I'm sure it's going to be explosive and it's going to be fun and we'll learn so much and just, be together in space that all of us like, with like-minded people. It's just fun by itself, right? Okay, so that's about this. Now let's move to the techniques and what they actually are and how do we perform them. So the first one is SSILD, which stands for Senses Induced Lucid Dream. Why are there 2 S's? I don't know, but whatever. Anyways, in this technique, what we're doing is we cycle our attention through 3 phases. The first phase is when we just close our eyes and we look at the blackness, at the Chidakash, and we just stay and gaze and observe. This is the first phase. The second phase is we move from that to the attention of the body, of feeling the sensations around the body. Third phase, we move to hearing and we just listening to the voices, to the sounds around us, right? Like that car. And we're just observing the sounds. So that will be one cycle, moving from the blackness of closed eyes to feeling the body and then to hearing. And officially, this technique is introduced in a way that you use it with a wake back to bed. But wait with that thought. You use it with a wake back to bed. So you wake up after around like 5 hours and then you start the technique. Meaning you stay still, lying in bed, just sleeping, awake, but with closed eyes and not moving the body, and you start the cycle. And it is recommended that when you start it, you stay a few seconds in each of the phases. So the first cycle you would only stay, so the first cycle you do 3 cycles first, that each cycle you stay a few seconds in each of them. So you say a few seconds just observing the blackness, few seconds, and then just a few seconds I'm saying something like 10 seconds maximum. A few seconds just sensing the body, and then a few seconds just hearing. One cycle, you do this 3 times. After you've done this for 3 times, you do another 3 cycles, but you stay for something around a minute in each of them. So now you would stay around a minute observing the blackness, around a minute feeling the body and sensing it, and around a minute hearing for 3 cycles. So total of 6 cycles. 3 first cycles, you stay just a few seconds in each of the phases, and another 3 cycles that you stay for around a minute. After that, you close it and you just go to bed. You fall asleep. This is the official way of using this technique, which has very good statistics of helping us getting lucid. It's like very easy, and they even say, don't do anything more than this. This is the technique, just this is. But I like to be flexible, I like to be explorative. I feel like anyone should take a technique, understand the roots, and then mold it up for themselves. So I think, in my opinion, you choose how to do it for yourself, but in my opinion, you can start the technique as you are just lying down in bed. You can cycle it forever until you fall asleep. You know, making that, building up on this principle of immersion. It's exactly the same like watching a movie, right? And then going to bed and then dreaming about that movie. If we are actually doing this technique enough to get our mind immersed in it, then it will affect our dreaming, and I will get to that point in a second. So what I'm saying here, that in my opinion, you can get flexible with it. You can just randomly, when you wake up naturally in the middle of the night, make the technique. It doesn't have to be awake back to bed, but this is just my opinion, and it's completely up to you. We have an entire month to explore it and just have fun. About how it works, let's go to the roots. If you've seen my videos, you know that I really like to go to the roots of each technique and understand how it works. So the first thing that we really need to understand, which is very important, is the time. So why in the first 3 cycles we do it only for a few seconds, and afterwards we do it a bit longer? In my experience and my idea is that when we are just waking up, we're still very sleepy, and it's very easy for us to fall back asleep and lose consciousness. So those first 3 cycles of just a few seconds in each are fast enough, kind of like Yoga Nidra, you know, the pace in Yoga Nidra, but they're just fast enough to move our attention from doing this to this to this, and sustaining awareness by doing it quickly. Afterwards, after you do the first 3 cycles, you kind of heightened up a bit of your wakefulness, and then you can stay a bit longer. So it's important to note this timing, because if you're going to play with the timing, be aware that you might fall asleep if you start out doing it, you know, spending a lot of time in each of the phases instead of giving it a kick of a few seconds each just to build up wakefulness. You'll have to see your wakefulness meter when you wake up, how wakeful you actually feel. Now, a second thing that if we want to go to the roots, the second thing that is good to know about this technique, that every technique for lucid dreaming, for going into non-physical reality, is a technique of awareness, of heightening our awareness. We're already there every night, but we don't get it, right? So the techniques are always to heighten our level of awareness. And when we are working with cycling awareness from one thing to another, we are actually building up our attention, our awareness. And like I said before, like the immersion principle, if we do this, and that's why I also believe that if we do it continuously as falling asleep, it can also be a way to build up awareness as we are falling asleep. Very similar to the Tibetan Buddhist tradition techniques for gaining awareness into dreaming. So that is about that. I think I covered the first technique. Let's move to the second technique. The second technique is called FILD, which means finger-induced lucid dream. Fingers-induced lucid dream. And this technique works on a really sweet spot of that in-between state when we're just waking up naturally in the middle of the night and we're half asleep, half awake, very, very drowsy. If we can catch ourselves in that moment, if we tell ourselves enough to remember to notice that moment and act from there, that is the place you want to act with the FILD technique. So the technique is very, very simple, like the SSILD. Those techniques are very simple, doesn't require too much from us. And in this technique, when we wake up, we stay, in the same position that we woke up in, stay with eyes closed. Please don't worry if you move or open your eyes, just, go back to being still and close your eyes. So we're doing a very forgiving process here, as always. And then when we catch ourselves in that moment, we take our hand that is lying on bed and we just move these two fingers. These two fingers, we just move them like this, kind of like doing a man working or maybe on a keyboard piano, right? So we keep our hand flat though on the bed, whatever position it is, and we're just starting to do this movement, right? Very slowly though, very gently. And we do this for around 30 seconds. And afterwards, we do a nose reality check. So we take this hand, we do it for around 30 seconds, and then we close the nostrils and try to breathe. And obviously, if we are awake, we can't breathe. But if you do this 30 seconds, close your nostrils, breathe, and you are able to breathe, then you are there, my friend. You are there, you are in the dream, in non-physical reality, whatever you want to call it, astral, whatever it is. And it's important to note how physical it feels. You would wake up when you do this, and you would be sure that you're awake. And you'll do the movements, and you'll hold your nose, but when it actually works, it's just mind-blowing because it feels so physical. And have no doubt, when you're doing this and you can actually breathe, just get up. You just get up. It's so simple. It just feels so physical. So sometimes there will be doubt, as if like, am I really, can I get up and blah, blah, blah. Don't listen to that doubt. Just erase it and just do it. Worst thing that would happen, you would move with your physical body, but that's fine. So this is if it works, right? So you do the 30 seconds, you hold your nose. But if you hold your nose and you can't breathe, obviously you're in the physical, you put your hand back, you do it again for 30 seconds, and you do the reality check again. If it still doesn't work, that's it. 2 tries, go back to sleep. So these are the 2 techniques, and this FILD technique is so beautiful, again, because it works on this in-between stage, and it's very delicate in a way, but it works so like magic, and it gets you to do the transition so fast. What actually happens is when you wake up, you remember to do this and you start moving your fingers, you're already there. You're already in the non-physical, but you don't get it until you do the nose reality check, and then you're sure. So, 2 simple techniques to take for the entire month. It's beautiful that we can do this together and build a community and a support group for this. So I'll see if I can put some links in the description about this techniques or anything like that, but I really want to just get it going. And yes, so that's it. So for any questions, comments, your experiences, share it in the comment section below, and we'll start building up and encourage each other, and it will be beautiful. All right. So see you around. Let's get updated every day that we can when we're doing the technique. Even if you do it and nothing happens, write it down, let's get it rolling. And super excited. See you in the comments. Keep it lucid.